This is the Valley Today.
North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley says he has recertified the state's trigger law connected to the Roe v. Wade abortion ruling and delivered that certification to the North Dakota Legislative Council last night. That trigger ban was set to go into effect today to make abortions illegal in the state, but a judge yesterday afternoon issued a temporary restraining order. Burleigh County Judge Bruce Romanek says Wrigley prematurely attempted to execute the language of North Dakota's trigger law. Romanek says the official certification of the Supreme Court's decision was not issued until July 26, and parties are allowed 25 days to ask for a rehearing. Abortion services will continue at the Red River Women's Clinic for the time being while the case makes its way through the courts. A post on the clinic's Facebook page says all they ever wanted was for the state to follow the rules, and they're relieved that a judge recognized that. And the judge's ruling buys that clinic more time. But this latest development also puts a new spin on what was expected to be the clinic's last day of operations. The Valley Today's Jillian Trudeau joins us live in downtown Fargo, just outside that clinic. Good morning, Jillian.
Good morning, Jordan. Yes, after the block that was initiated yesterday for the abortion trigger ban, the Red River Women's Clinic will have their lights on for the amount of time that it takes until it is overturned. The Center for Reproductive Rights posted on its Twitter page that abortion care will continue at the Red River Women's Clinic in Fargo, but the ban is only temporary, so it's just giving North Dakota's only abortion clinic time to move to Moorhead.
I'm very happy that there will be no more legal abortions in North Dakota. I know it's just going to move over to Moorhead, but I think it's a very good thing that at least North Dakota is standing up and saying we don't want abortion in our state.
The director of the Red River Women's Clinic, Tammy Kromenacher, said to a national news outlet that they'll be ready to see patients in the Minnesota clinic as early as next week.
Patients will know where they're going, and people will eventually find out where it's at. But as of right now, it's really important that there aren't any barriers to access, and that includes the building staying safe.
The Red River Women's Clinic is still fundraising and has a GoFundMe for those moving expenses. We will be following what the state's next steps are, and we'll have that information as it's available.
All right, Jillian Trudeau on a big story today, reporting live in downtown Fargo. Thank you. It is now 6:03. Let's get a check of your forecast out there. Lisa, just starting to see that sun come up at this hour.
Yeah, pretty morning here this morning again. It's kind of a repeat of yesterday. We're talking about sunshine, cool temperatures this morning, and then a chance for some rain coming back this afternoon. And it's beautiful out there now, at least. We're at 55 degrees in Grand Forks. It's 53 in Fargo, 50 in Fergus Falls. Not too long ago, we were down into the 40s there, so it's a little cooler here to kick off our Thursday. 56 in Jamestown, and Devil's Lake is at 54 degrees with some mostly sunny skies as that sun is coming up here today. As I mentioned, it's kind of a repeat of yesterday because we're still being influenced by this big low here, and this is going to, the good thing is if you want this pattern to change, this will start to shift eastward even today. So our rain chances that do develop will be a little bit farther to the east, and those of us in eastern North Dakota less likely to see some of those rain showers, though you can see just to the north of us we might have a couple dropping into places like northeastern parts of the state and into Minnesota. More likely again seeing some of those showers as we head into the late morning and into the midday time frame and beyond. But right now, beautiful out there. We're looking at some conditions that are going to be cool yet again today. We're starting off on a cool note this morning, this afternoon. Those places that are more likely to get sun and less likely to see some rain will end up into the 70s. Fargo, one of them, at 76 degrees for the high. Up in the northeastern part of our viewing area, places like Roseau, Thief River Falls, you're more likely to be into the 60s today with the clouds and the rain showers affecting you. Everybody will have some wind yet again. We'll see some wind speeds into the teens and some gusts going into the 20s to about 30 miles miles per hour. With this, though, comes that relief, that break from the mugginess here. And this carries on today and into Friday. We'll be in that comfy range, but heading into the weekend with that heat coming back that we've been talking about, the humid air will as well. So we want you to be prepared for that. We'll talk about those temperatures we expect for the weekend coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, Lisa, we'll check back in. Thank you. A Minnesota man is dead after being hit by a semi while riding a bike. The State Patrol says the man crossed an intersection against the light in Chanhassen yesterday afternoon and was then hit. The victim's name will be released later today, but troopers do say he is a 52-year-old man from Grand Rapids. A Minnesota couple is dead after what's described as a violent explosion at their Hopkins home. There you see the destruction. The fire chief of 30-plus years says he has never seen an explosion like that one. Police and fire departments responded to a house on the city's north side yesterday morning.
Our lives are fragile and tenuous no matter how well off we are or how secure we feel. Something like this can happen, and that's frightening.
A family member identified the victims as Herb and Sharon Vassar. They were in their 80s. They had lived in that home since the 1960s. Investigators believe that a gas leak built up inside the home. There's no word, though, on what set it off. A Minnesota woman is accused of a number of disturbing crimes against animals at her home. 40-year-old Michelle Karch of Fox Home is accused of multiple animal abuse crimes. One deputy who worked that case says they were the most abhorrent conditions he had ever seen dogs kept in. Authorities say they found 2 dead dogs at Karch's home and another dog extremely malnourished. Karch said that the dogs were sick, but a veterinarian says that's not likely. Authorities also found cats, a pony, and a horse on the property, all of them without proper food or water. 2 former Minneapolis police officers involved in the 2020 killing of George Floyd were sentenced yesterday on federal civil rights charges. J. Alexander King will spend 3 years in prison for violating Floyd's civil rights. Tu Tao got 3.5 years behind bars. Both were convicted in February of depriving Floyd of his right to medical care when Derek Chauvin pressed his knee into Floyd's neck. They were also convicted of failing to intervene to stop Chauvin. King and Tao still face state charges of aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter. That trial is set for late October. Grand Forks police are conducting a 2-day training session starting today at Schrader Middle School. It's scheduled from 10 this morning to noon both days. People will see a variety of first responder vehicles surrounding that building. The Federal Reserve is taking another step to fight historic inflation by raising its key interest rate by 0.75%. The Fed is hoping that the hike will reduce overall demand in the economy, which in turn should slow down price growth. This is the second time in a row the Fed has raised rates by 0.75% and the 4th rate hike this year. Meanwhile, the Commerce Department comes out with new gross domestic product data this morning. Wall Street expects to see a second straight quarter of negative growth, which is a traditional sign of a recession. Still to come on the Valley today, a deal in the works to get a WNBA star back home. But next, we're taking a look at your hometown forecast out there. The sun nice and bright on this Thursday morning, but it's deceiving. Temperatures are a little cool out there.